can't wait to have kids. Not that I wanted to go get pregnant and have a kid, but I can't wait for the time when I do have kids, because they're going to be somebody that loves me unconditionally.
You're figuring out motherhood and getting through these legal issues. Do you start to have professional ambition within the next year or two, or like
No.
what is kind of happening
No.
at this point?
I think I had kind of mentally checked out from ever thinking I could. I didn't go to college. I'm a single mom, teen mom. I have a record. It wasn't even in my mindset of thinking a career. It was thinking, what is the best hourly paying job I could get?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I had any ambitions, really. I don't think I had any goals. It was more or less just find the best job I could. And I think because I was young, I wasn't thinking about benefits. I wasn't thinking
Right.
about any of that stuff. I was literally still somewhat in survival mode.
Right.
What is the best job I could get without them running my record? Because I don't want to apply for anything too big, because that's going to ensue a background check.
Yep.
And I'm not going to pass that. So I had to stay with the kind of the mid-level, good-paying hourly jobs. It's not going to run a background check. So
essentially there's no big future for you. It's just, let's pay the bills, take care of your kid, and then maybe you can rent an apartment or something like that. Like there's no big ambition or future at this point. Was there any defining moment or relationship that you had or anything like that started to change that mindset for you to think like, hey, I'm actually able to do more with my life than I think?
You know, it didn't come until much, much later. Honestly, not that long ago, because I mentioned I went to J. Sargent Reynolds. I ended up meeting my husband at J. Sargent Reynolds. We got married and we had 3 kids. So now I have 4 kids. And in that moment, you know, I'm in my 20s. I'm just thinking of, I just want to be the best mom. I want to be a good mom. I want to try to do everything right. I want to be present. I want to be at all their stuff. He worked. We struggled, check to check always, but there was a period of time between my first son and my second son that I was just like a stay-home mom. Not that we could afford it, but when you have that many kids, you can't afford to put them all in daycare anyway.
Right.
So we just made it work on his income, and I was blessed to be able to have the option to even stay home, even if it was a struggle to be with the kids. So in those years, that was more of my mindset, just kind of being a mom, being a good mom. And it wasn't until probably our marriage ended after about 9 years. And in that moment, it's like, okay, I was working part-time at that time, and I quickly moved into working full-time. And that was more of a kind of a career. I was in sales, but it was a good job. I had a lot of flexibility, a lot of freedom. It was a family-owned company, so I kind of worked my way up, and that was, the best job I could have hoped for. Right. So
you have mentioned a few times that you lacked that connection with your own mother. What was the connection like with you and your kids, and how did you try to, were you purposely trying to solve, to have that connection with your kids that you never got?
Definitely. I remember I was probably 12, sitting on the back porch at home thinking, I can't wait to have kids. Not that I wanted to go get pregnant and have a kid, but I can't wait for the time when I do have kids, because they're going to be somebody that loves me unconditionally. So I couldn't wait for that time to be a mother, but I knew nothing about being a mother. And again, I wasn't raised with that affection and that love. And when I had Jocelyn, it was really hard for me naturally to have that immediate affection. When she was a baby, it was very easy. But as she became a toddler and a little girl, it was a struggle for me to hug her, to just naturally have that affection. But I made it a point to force myself until it became natural. But I remember I felt guilty for feeling like that. I felt like I wasn't a good mom, that I should naturally want to have all the affection and the hugs and the I love yous and all of that. But I had to push through that, because I definitely did not want my kids to be raised not hearing I love you and not being hugged.